The story begins at a Canadian airport. A father named Elliot is traveling with his daughter Ridley. They are going to another city because Elliot has to complete an important business deal there. Ridley was a quiet and lonely girl. She didn't have many friends and was always worried about the pimples on her face. After some time, their flight lands in the city they were heading to. Elliot and Ridley get into their car because Elliot is already late for his meeting. While driving, Elliot thanks his daughter for coming along and tells her not to stress too much about her pimples. He gently advises her to stop touching them again and again. The story really begins from here. Elliot explains to Ridley that pimples are totally normal and every teenager gets them. Hearing this, Ridley feels a little better. Then we learn that Ridley's mother had passed away some time ago, and because Ridley didn't like being alone, she often went with her father to his work trips so she wouldn't feel lonely. While driving, the man with whom Elliot had to make the business deal calls him. He's very angry and starts shouting because Elliot is late for the meeting. Elliot apologizes and gives excuses, but luckily the phone network suddenly drops and the call disconnects. Elliot sighs in relief and increases the speed so they can reach the man's mansion faster. But suddenly, an animal appears in the middle of the road, and Elliot's car hits it. The car spins and stops at the side of the road with a strong jolt. After things calm down, Elliot asks his daughter if she's okay. Seeing that both are fine, they step out of the car to see what kind of animal they hit. When they walk closer, Ridley notices that it's not a normal animal. It's a strange-looking horse with a horn on its head, like a unicorn. But the most shocking thing is that blue blood is dripping from its wound. Elliot is angry because this accident has made him even later for his meeting, but Ridley stands frozen, amazed by the mysterious creature. She had never seen anything like this before. Then, suddenly, the unicorn's horn starts glowing with a faint blue light. Without thinking, Ridley steps forward and touches it. The moment she touches the horn, strange visions flash before her eyes. She sees things she can't understand. Everything becomes blurry and unreal. But then she hears her father's voice calling her name and comes back to her senses. To her shock, she sees Elliot hitting the injured unicorn with a stick, trying to kill it. Ridley screams and begs him to stop, but Elliot doesn't listen. He keeps striking the creature until it finally dies. A while later, both of them arrive at Mr. Odell's mansion, where Elliot has to finalize his business deal. The strangest part is that Elliot has brought the unicorn's dead body with him, hidden inside the trunk of his car. He parks outside the mansion, gets out, and goes inside. There, he meets Shepard, Odell's son, and shakes his hand. After that, he greets Odell's wife politely as well. Finally, Elliot goes inside Odell's room and apologizes for being late. That's when we find out that Odell is seriously ill. He's in the last stage of his life. Elliot keeps giving excuses, hoping Odell will forgive him. At the same time, Ridley starts remembering everything that happened earlier that day with the strange horse. Odell notices her worried face and asks if she's okay. Ridley lies and says she's perfectly fine. Just then, Shepard, Odell's son, also enters the room and casually asks Ridley about the pimples on her face. Elliot quickly interrupts and tells Ridley to go wash her face in the bathroom, saying it'll make her feel fresh. But in reality, Elliot just wanted to send her away so she wouldn't say anything that could ruin his business deal or accidentally mention what happened with the horse. When Ridley steps out, she keeps glancing nervously toward their car, looking very uneasy. At the same moment, one of the mansion guards notices Ridley acting strangely and feels that something isn't right. The guard slowly walks toward Elliot's car and begins to sense that there's something suspicious inside it, maybe something hidden. Meanwhile, Ridley goes into the bathroom and washes her face. But when she looks in the mirror, she's shocked. All the pimples on her face have suddenly disappeared. Then she notices a blue stain on the towel, which is actually the unicorn's blood. At the same time, Odell sits with Elliot and tells him that he has tried every possible treatment for his illness, but nothing has worked. He admits that he has accepted his fate and is just waiting for death now. He also explains that he's doing this business deal so that before he dies, he can secure his company and protect his family's future. Odell even tells Elliot that after his death, he wants him to look after his son, Shepard. On the other hand, Ridley is still confused but amazed. Her pimples are completely gone. She realizes that it must be because of the blue blood from that mysterious horse. After thinking for a while, she starts to understand that the horse's blood might be magical, powerful enough to heal any disease in the human body. At that moment, the unicorn's horn, which Elliot kept inside the car, begins to glow faintly again. When Ridley returns to her father, Elliot tells her that she should meet Odell's family. Ridley refuses, saying she doesn't want to, but Elliot insists and tells her that this is the most important deal of his entire life. Ridley asks him about the horse, and Elliot promises that if she listens to him and meets Odell's family politely, he'll fulfill any wish she has, even help her bury the horse properly. But before their conversation can finish, something strange starts happening in the car. The car begins shaking. The dead horse inside the trunk starts moving. Seeing this, Elliot panics and quickly goes back to Odell to apologize, saying he must leave right now. He tells Odell that he wants to take Ridley home since she looks tired and unwell, but Odell becomes angry and says that Elliot never keeps his promises and always walks away when things get serious. He warns him that leaving now would be a huge insult. At that moment, one of the guards approaches Ridley and asks why she looks so scared. Ridley is about to answer when suddenly a loud noise comes from Elliot's car outside, shocking everyone around. Everyone quickly runs outside to see what happened. Suddenly, the horse comes back to life and starts smashing smashing the car to escape. Seeing this, everyone there freezes in fear and shock. The horse's appearance had turned strange and terrifying. But at that moment, a guard quickly fires at the horse and kills it on the spot. Elliot panics completely, not knowing what to do. He immediately tells Odell and his family everything, what happened on the way, and how that horse ended up there. After hearing his story, everyone is shocked. No one can understand whether that creature was really a horse or a unicorn. Just then, Ridley decides to tell the truth too. She says that it was the unicorn's blue blood that completely healed the acne on her face. Odell is stunned and asks if she feels anything strange in her body. Ridley says no, everything feels normal. She then suggests they should contact the animal organization so they can take the horse away. But Odell refuses, saying if they do that, the government will use the creature for their own selfish experiments. He insists that he must handle this situation himself. Later that night, Elliot goes to his daughter's room to check on her. When he sees Ridley sitting quietly, he asks why she looks so sad. Ridley tells him that when she touched the unicorn's horn earlier, she saw some strange visions. Elliot doesn't believe her and says maybe she was just imagining things. He explains that she should stop thinking about all this and focus on their main goal, completing their deal. But deep inside, Ridley is still very disturbed. Soon after, Ridley starts researching that magical horse. She finds out that the creature was part of an ancient legend. Long ago, a royal family kept it, but when they discovered its magical powers, they decided to kill it to steal its strength. Later, the unicorn came back to life and took revenge on everyone in that family. Reading this made Ridley even more frightened. That night, when she goes to sleep, Ridley has a terrifying dream. She sees herself running through a forest, but when she looks down, she realizes she is inside the horse's body. Shocked and terrified, she wakes up suddenly, not understanding what's happening to her. As soon as she opens her eyes, she sees a group of strange-looking people standing in front of her. They tie up both Ridley and her father, Elliot. It turns out they are scientists called by Odell to examine them and find out what effect the unicorn's blue blood has on them. After the tests, Ridley goes to talk to her father and tells him everything that happened last night. Elliot tells her to forget all of it and not think about such things anymore. Meanwhile, when the doctors finish testing the horse's blood, they discover something unbelievable. The blood is not normal. It has the power to heal any human disease. The scientists tell Odell about this shocking result and suggest that to confirm it, they must test it directly on a human being. Odell becomes extremely excited after hearing this and decides that the experiment should be done on himself. A little while later, the doctors prepare the magical blood and inject it into Odell. Watching this, Ridley becomes very worried. She argues that what they're doing is wrong and runs out of the lab, heading into the forest to calm herself down. Meanwhile, the scientists start examining the horse's body and discover something shocking. Its veins are still active. That means they can continue to extract blood from the horse for a long time. On the other side, Ridley is wandering through the forest when she suddenly feels like someone is watching her. She looks around but sees no one. Scared, she starts running back home as fast as she can. That night, Elliot goes to check on Odell and asks how he's feeling now. Odell says he feels much better and thinks the treatment is working. Hearing that, Elliot becomes very happy and wishes him a speedy recovery. Meanwhile, Ridley continues to search for more information about the magical horse. At that moment, Odell's son Shepard sees her and decides to help. He gives her his printer so she can print all the photos and research material about the horse and study them carefully. After helping Ridley, Shepard leaves the room, but suddenly he sees his father, Odell, standing right in front of him. Odell now looks completely healthy, even stronger than before. Without wasting time, he gathers all the doctors and orders them to extract as much of the unicorn's blue blood as possible so they can store it for future use. He also says that if this treatment ever reaches the public, its value will be sky high. However, the doctors warn him that it's not possible. The blood has a limited lifespan and becomes useless after some time. Meanwhile, Ridley, still shaken by what she saw earlier, gathers her courage and returns to her research to uncover the truth behind the horse's powers. After a few hours of study, she finds something terrifying. She rushes straight to Odell and tells him to listen carefully. Ridley explains that the medicine made from the horse's blood is extremely powerful. It works, but if the dosage is even slightly too high, it can be deadly. She also tells him that for centuries, people have used the same horse's blood in the same way Odell is doing now. But every single time, their end was horrible because the horse would eventually come back to life and kill them all. As expected, Odell completely ignores her warning. Instead, he arrogantly says that he will reveal this horse to the entire world and that Ridley has no right to interfere or speak about it again. Hearing this, Ridley feels deeply hurt. A little later, Odell's wife follows her and tries to comfort her, saying she will find a way to fix things. But Ridley, angry and heartbroken, walks straight to her car and sits there alone. She's upset not only because of Odell, but also because her father, Elliot, didn't believe her either, and failed to stand up for her in front of Odell. Meanwhile, Odell and the other doctors begin preparing the horse for their next big experiment. They locked the horse inside a big bag so they could take it out of the mansion and transport it to the city. But just as Odell and the doctors were preparing to move it, suddenly the entire mansion lost power. Everything went dark. At the same time, the device the doctors were using started beeping loudly. The signal meant only one thing: the horse was still alive. Outside, Ridley, who was sitting in her car, got out and and looked up at the sky. Strange colors were spreading across the clouds. It looked unnatural, almost magical. Elliot immediately rushed to the doctors to find out what was happening, but none of them had any answers. They all looked confused and scared. Suddenly, one of the doctors collapsed and died on the spot. He had been stabbed by a horse's horn. When Elliot looked closely, he realized something terrifying. The horse that attacked wasn't the same one they had captured earlier. This was another one. The guards opened fire, shooting continuously, but the bullets had no effect. The creature was unbelievably powerful. It started attacking everyone, killing the guards one by one. Seeing the chaos, Elliot shouted for his daughter Ridley and told her to get into the car and escape. But as soon as Ridley sat inside, the furious horse jumped onto the car and began smashing it violently. The other guards used their advanced weapons to stop it, but nothing worked. Ridley quickly got out of the car and started running to save her life. The horse chased her endlessly, refusing to stop. Finally, Ridley ran into an old stable and hid inside, but soon the horse found her there too. Then something strange happened. The moment the horse came close to her, it suddenly calmed down. Its horn began to glow brightly, as if reacting to her presence. Ridley slowly reached out and touched it. Just then, a female guard arrived with a group of soldiers and opened fire on the creature again. The horse screamed and ran away into the darkness, disappearing into the forest. Silence filled the air. When things settled down, everyone returned inside the mansion. Ridley was furious with her father, Elliot. She shouted that she had warned him so many times, but he never believed her. Instead, he always followed whatever Odell said. Ridley begged him and the others to take the horse back to its parents, saying it was the only way to stop all this madness. But no one listened. In fact, Odell made the complete opposite decision. He announced that from now on, they would hunt down all the magical horses. He gathered a group of skilled hunters and set out for the forest to capture them. Elliot also started preparing to go with him, but Ridley ran to him crying, begging him not to go. After that, he formed a team of hunters and took everyone with him into the forest to catch those horses. Elliot was also getting ready to go after them, but Ridley came to him and tried to stop him. She was crying and begged him not to go into the forest. But as always, Elliot didn't listen to her. He said he couldn't leave Odell alone. Meanwhile, Shepard went to the doctor and took a sample of the horse's blood. He believed that if he used this blood, he would gain great power and be able to face any danger. Shepard made a special liquid from that blood and started using it on himself. But as soon as he did that, strange things began to happen. His body started changing, and he had no idea what was happening to him. At the same time, Ridley also began to feel something terrifying. She sat in her car, thinking of escaping from there. But at the very last moment, she changed her mind. She couldn't leave her father alone in such danger. Just then, she saw a strange, glowing light in the sky. It looked mysterious and powerful. Ridley quickly got out of the car and ran back into the mansion. She rushed to her study room to check her research papers, hoping to find an answer about what that strange light could be. After searching for a few minutes, Ridley finally found the truth, and it terrified her. She immediately called her father, Elliot, and shouted that he and the others must return to the mansion right away. The horse had set a deadly trap for them in the forest, and if they reached that place, none of them would survive. But Elliot didn't answer her call. Panicking, Ridley ran to the mansion guards and explained the whole situation. She told them that they had to act immediately, or everything would be lost. She ordered one of the guards to contact everyone in the forest because they were all in serious danger. Meanwhile, in the forest, the doctors were trying to cut off the horse's horn, but something strange was happening. The horn was glowing brighter and brighter, as if filled with powerful energy. On the other side, Elliot finally saw Ridley's messages, but it was already too late. Suddenly, the horse appeared in front of them. It roared with rage and attacked all the hunters. One by one, they were brutally killed. Elliot quickly put on his night vision goggles, allowing him to see the horse's exact location in the darkness. He grabbed Odell, and together, they somehow managed to escape the deadly creature. After a long struggle, they reached back to the mansion, both terrified and exhausted. But the nightmare wasn't over yet. The horse had followed them. It broke through the mansion gates and stormed inside. As Elliot and Odell tried to run away, another horse appeared right in front of them. Now there were two of them, both glowing and furious, blocking every escape route. Odell, trying to stay calm, began talking to the horses in a soft voice. He spoke gently, trying to convince them that he meant no harm. One of the horses started to calm down slightly, its breathing slowing, but as soon as Odell reached out his hand to touch its horn, the second horse attacked from behind, piercing him straight through. Odell died instantly. At that moment, Ridley came running in, holding the baby horse in her arms. Her plan was to return the little one to its parents, hoping that it would stop their anger and end the bloodshed. But Elliot still refused to believe her. Even after everything that had happened, he didn't trust her plan. He said he would call the police and let them handle everything. But when he pulled out his phone, there was no signal. The entire network had disappeared. Fear spread through the mansion. Even Odell's wife turned to Elliot and said they should listen to Ridley. She believed the only right thing to do was to return the baby horse to its parents. Despite Elliot's hesitation, Odell Odell's wife made the final decision herself. She ordered the guards and one of the doctors to take the baby horse outside and hand it over to the two adult horses waiting outside the mansion. But the doctor made a terrible mistake. Before leaving, he secretly cut off the baby horse's horn, thinking it wouldn't make much difference. He wanted to keep a piece of it for his own experiments. He had no idea what kind of danger this small act would bring. A few minutes later, the guard and the doctor went outside carrying the baby horse. They gently placed it in front of its parents, the two giant glowing horses staring at them in silence. As soon as the two big horses saw their baby and realized that its horn had been cut off, they completely lost control. The horse first attacked the doctor and killed him on the spot. One of the guards witnessed everything with his own eyes and somehow managed to escape at the last moment. When everyone else heard about what had happened, Shepard said that only Ridley could handle those horses while the others tried to run away. Elliot was shocked to hear that and asked why only Ridley. Shepard explained that the horses would never hurt Ridley because she was the only person who never tried to use their magical power for her own gain. Everyone else wanted that power, but Ridley always tried to understand them instead. The situation was getting worse and scarier by the minute. Elliot became frightened and went to Odell's wife, saying that he didn't want to be part of this anymore. He admitted that it was all their fault, and now they had to fix it. At that moment, strange things started happening to Shepard's body. His eyes began to glow brightly, and it seemed like some unknown power was taking control of him. When Ridley and Elliot tried to run away, Shepard appeared right in front of them. He grabbed Ridley, and just when he was about to hurt her, both horses suddenly showed up. They had come to take revenge on Shepard. Elliot and Ridley saw the chance and ran through one path, while Shepard and his mother escaped through another. They had the baby horse's horn with them. On the way, Shepard's mother asked him what he planned to do now. In a cold voice, Shepard said he wasn't going to run away. He told her that he planned to capture both horses and use their offspring to create new magical powers so he could become the most powerful person alive. But then Shepard looked at his device and was shocked. The horse's horn was gone. That's when the truth came out. Elliot had stolen the horn. Elliot was now sitting with Ridley, feeling deeply guilty. He tearfully apologized to his daughter, saying he had always cared more about his work and never listened to her. He kept asking for forgiveness, admitting that he had been wrong all along. His words touched Ridley's heart, and she hugged her father tightly, crying. Just then, Shepard and his mother entered the hall, searching for Elliot and Ridley. After a short chase, the horses caught Shepard's mother and killed her. Meanwhile, Elliot locked Ridley on the balcony so the horses couldn't reach her. He then ran forward on purpose to distract them, giving Ridley a chance to escape. After several attempts, Ridley finally managed to break free from the balcony. As soon as she came out, she saw the horse chasing her father, trying to kill him. Ridley was about to run after them when suddenly Shepard appeared in front of her. He had a bow and arrow in his hands and threatened Ridley to come with him. Helplessly, Ridley went with Shepard to the courtyard. There, they also had the baby horse with them. But at that very moment, the father horse arrived. He looked furious, ready to take his revenge. But as soon as the father horse saw Ridley, his anger slowly began to fade. He walked up to her and gently lay down at her feet, as if he trusted her completely. Shepard saw this moment as an opportunity. He quickly moved forward and tied a rope around the horse's leg, trying to capture it. Ridley stopped him and said he was making a huge mistake and shouldn't do this. But, like always, Shepard didn't listen. He arrogantly said that he knew exactly what he was doing, and that no one could stop him. Just then, they heard another sound. It was the mother horse. Everyone turned to look and saw that Elliot was with her. He had used the baby horse's horn to control her. But surprisingly, as soon as the mother horse came closer to Ridley, she too calmed down and lay at Ridley's feet. The moment Ridley stood near them, both horses became completely peaceful. Seeing this, Shepard rushed forward again and tied the mother horse's legs with a rope as well. This made Elliot furious. He took the horn in his hand and hit Shepard hard with it, but Shepard was no longer human. The horse's blood inside him had made him extremely powerful. He blocked Elliot's attack and then turned the arrow toward Elliot, stabbing him with it. Elliot fell to the ground badly wounded, and Ridley ran to him in panic. She cried uncontrollably as blood kept flowing from his wounds. Before she could do anything, Shepard prepared to attack again. He picked up the horse's horn and moved toward Elliot to finish him off. But in that very moment, the father horse broke free from the ropes. He charged forward with full force and kicked Shepard hard with his powerful legs. Shepard was thrown into the air and hit the ground, dead instantly. Elliot was now taking his last breaths. He held Ridley's hand and softly said that before he died, he wanted to know one thing. What did she see when she touched the horse's horn for the first time? With tears in her eyes, Ridley replied that she had seen strange visions. She felt that the horse was trying to show her something, its origin, its world, and the pain it carried within. She also said that in those visions, she saw memories of her own mother, moments she had lost long ago. Elliot smiled weakly, looked into his daughter's eyes, and whispered, "Forgive me, Ridley." A few seconds later, he stopped breathing. Ridley cried while holding her father in her arms. She couldn't believe she would never see him again. But then, something miraculous happened. The father horse calmly approached her and stood in front of her. He looked at the mother horse, and together, they joined their powers to create a bright, magical light. That light touched the baby horse, and its broken horn slowly began to heal. Then, to everyone's shock, Elliot's wounds also started healing. Within moments, he opened his eyes. He was alive again. Now Elliot could see everything that Ridley had seen before. The visions, the memories, and the truth about that magical world. He hugged Ridley tightly, both of them filled with peace and happiness. happiness, as if everything had finally been set right. But just then, the mansion doors opened. The guard entered, followed by the police. They looked around the place, but there were no horses anywhere to be seen. The police caught Elliot and Ridley and accused them of killing Odell's family. But Elliot and Ridley were no longer afraid of anything. They were simply happy that they had helped the magical horses and saved their world. Then, something unbelievable happened. Instead of punishing them, the horses decided to help. They used their magical powers to make Elliot and Ridley invisible to the police and took them to a safe place. And that's how the story ends. Elliot and Ridley were finally free, and the magical horses returned peacefully to their forest. And with this, the movie comes to an end. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more amazing videos.